Good morning, everyone. Corey here once again. Just want to share with you a little bit of my experience with canvassing. First of all, the reason I got involved with canvassing is because I had actually tried it once before, a while ago, and I had a terrible experience with it. Me, my brother, and a couple friends of ours spent a summer going knocking on doors, and between the four of us over the course of the summer, we got out a total of 4 books. So we were not successful at all. And this was back in grade school times. And so when I was approached with the idea of canvassing in college several years later, it also happened to come at a time where I wasn't really positive if God was real. And so you combine these two things and the fact that I knew canvassing was something I was horrible at, I figured, well, if God could make me a successful canvasser, then he must be real. And so I challenged God in that way and went to Canvas in the summer of 2009 there. And the rest is history. After that summer, I became a leader, and I've been a leader ever since, canvassing in the summer programs down in Atlanta, Georgia. Also been privileged to canvass with industry programs as well at Heritage Academy in Monterey, Tennessee, and Southern Adventist University in Collegedale, Tennessee, and been able to take some trips to canvass in places like South Georgia, out in Arkansas, Siloam Springs area, even as far as Tulsa, Oklahoma. With I would also like to canvass, and I'm working on trips in Chicago, Illinois, and also out west as far as Houston or El Paso in Texas. I'm going to be sharing particularly some of the things that have come up, issues in reaching people of different demographics, specifically the rich individuals compared to the poor or lower class individuals. Usually we classify people based on a few different scales. You have lower class, you have middle class, you have high class. And it's very interesting. Your middle class will be mostly your families with kids, and the upper class can be as well, but sometimes they tend to be the older generation also. Now, the thing that we found is that people in lower class areas are almost always more receptive, more open, and as generous as they can be, kind of reminiscent of the widow with the two mites who placed her offering. It was a lot for her to give, but it wasn't a lot compared to what other people could have given. But this is the mentality that you find in lower class areas. They're very open to sharing. They're open to discussing their life's experience, and they're open to the books and the materials that are presented to them as well. They also seem to be people who are more open to Bible studies, willing to talk about things like smoking and problems they may be dealing with on a day-to-day basis, and just they seem to enjoy having someone to talk to. And a lot of this is actually based on and reflective of their own lifestyle and the way that they communicate on a day-to-day basis. When it comes to the high class and upper middle class people, the one thing that makes it difficult is that they're very business-like. To get to the position where they have been, it's either has something to do with an inheritance or a lot of hard work that they've put in. And oftentimes the business world is not necessarily the most pleasant. More often than not, it's a dog-eat-dog kind of world. And once you get to the position you want to be in, after all of that hard work, the last thing a lot of these individuals want to see is somebody coming to take their money away. That's how they view it. So almost anyone who comes to the door, whether it's a missionary with a good cause, whether it's somebody with vacuum cleaners, they're going to look at it simply as someone who is simply trying to take something from them. And they don't like that because they feel like they've worked so hard to get to where they are. So with them, you have to take a little bit of a different approach. Because they're business minded, you have to kind of approach it in a business way and kind of hope for the best. There are some that are open as well, so you would be able to talk with some upper class people in a normal way. It's not always the same across the board by any means. There are many open and generous and thoughtful individuals in the upper class as well. But the idea is there's a big contrast. People in the lower class are generally more open, and people in the upper class are generally more closed-minded. You find that they really seem to have an air of, I've got everything I need already. And especially because they feel like they've done it on their own. They don't feel like they need something from someone else who's coming in to introduce to them something new that could, quote unquote, make their life better because they already feel like by the works of their own hands, they've done it. And so, by this very same contrast, you find lower class people who are more open because they haven't had things given to them. The things that they've worked for, they've worked hard for, and has usually come at the expense of someone else who has been willing to share with them. And so, they in turn are more likely to share and be open with others as well. But this is just a little bit of what I'd like to share with you guys today about canvassing. And hope you guys have a great Sabbath and hope this information is useful to you all. All right, God bless.